Good morning, my students. How's it going? I wish you are good. Today we'll continue the first lesson, chemical combination. By the end of this lesson, all students shall be able to define the chemical bonds, describe all types of bonds, and differentiate between types of bonds. And we have some keywords. Please repeat after me. Chemical bond, ionic bond, covalent bond. And now let's watch this video together.
We will be studying ions. An ion is a charged particle. It is charged because it contains an unequal number of protons and electrons. So an ion is an atom that has either lost or gained electrons. There are two types of ions, cations and anions. All
Cations, the positive ions, and anions are the negative ions.
we will be studying
In the previous session, we studied the ions, and we said that the element that loses or gains electron or more than electron during the chemical reaction. And we said we have two types, positive and negative ions. Positive ions is the atom of metallic element that loses electron during the chemical reaction, like sodium 11 281. It loses the electron of outermost energy level to complete the outermost energy level of electrons and become a positive ion. And here we said that negative ions, it is the atom of non-metallic element that gains an electron or more than electron during the chemical reaction. And it becomes negative ions, because the number of negatively charged particles becomes more than number of positively charged particles. And now let's watch this video together and back again.
The world is generally not composed of isolated atoms. Rather, it is composed of molecules formed as a result of chemical bonds. The strong force that holds together the constituent particles, atoms, ions or molecules in a chemical species is known as chemical bond. The chemical bonds are broadly classified as ionic bond, and covalent bond. Let us discuss these chemical bonds in detail in this module. The bonding which results due to the complete transfer of valence electrons between atoms is called ionic bonding. It is a type of chemical bond that generates two oppositely charged ions. Ionic bonding is observed because metals have few electrons in its outermost orbital. By losing those electrons, these metals can achieve noble gas configuration and satisfy the octet rule. Similarly, non-metals that have close to 8 electrons in its valence shell tend to readily accept electrons to achieve its noble gas configuration. In ionic bonding, more than one electron can be donated or received to satisfy the octet rule. Sodium metal has electronic configuration as 2, 8 and 1. It has one electron more than a stable noble gas structure. If it gives away that electron, it would become more stable. On the other side, chlorine has electronic configuration as 2, 8 and 7. It has one electron short of a stable noble gas structure. If it could gain an electron, it too would become more stable. Thus, the sodium atom donates its valence electron to achieve stable octet configuration. This creates a positively charged cation due to the loss of electron. The chlorine atom receives one electron to achieve its stable octet configuration. This creates a negatively charged anion due to the addition of one electron. The sodium ions and chloride ions are held together by the strong electronic attractions between the positive and negative charges. Covalent bonding. A covalent chemical bond results from the sharing of electrons between two atoms with similar electronegativities. The electronic configuration of chlorine atom is one electron short of the argon configuration. The formation of the chlorine molecule can be understood in terms of the sharing of a pair of electrons between the two chlorine atoms, each chlorine atom contributing one electron to the shared pair. In the process, both chlorine atoms attain the outer shell octet of the nearest noble gas, that is argon. The dots represent electrons. Such structures are referred to as Lewis dot structures. Thus, the chlorine atoms are joined by a single covalent bond. A single covalent bond is formed when one pair of electrons are shared between two atoms. It is depicted by a single line between the two atoms. A double bond is formed when two atoms share two pairs of electrons with each other. It is depicted by two horizontal lines between two atoms in a molecule. This type of bond is much stronger than a single bond, but less stable. This is due to its greater amount of reactivity compared to a single bond. For example, in the carbon dioxide molecule, we have two double bonds between the carbon and oxygen atoms. When three pairs of electrons are shared between two atoms in a molecule, a triple bond is formed. It is the least stable out of the three general types of covalent bonds. The two carbon atoms in the ethyne molecule are joined by a triple bond.
And now, after watching this video, can you answer this question complete? The chemical bond resulting from electric attraction between a positive ion and negative ion is known as X-linked ionic bond. And it's a chemical bond originated between the atom of non-metals through sharing of each atom with a number of electrons to complete the outer electron shell of each atom is known as, yes, covalent bond. Chemical bonds generally are classified into ionic bond and covalent bond. We have two types, okay? Ionic bond, it's a combination between metallic element, okay, or positive ion, metallic like this is metal, okay, like sodium, two, 8, 1. Here it loses one electron and become a positive ion, as we can see. And here this is like chlorine 17, 2, 8, 7, it gains one electron to complete the outermost energy level and become a negative ion. Okay, the ionic bond is attraction between the positive and negative ion. Ionic bond is a chemical bond resulting from the electric attraction between a positive ion and negative ion. Here, this is the sodium. Sodium lose electron, okay, and become a positive ion. This electron go to the fluorine, okay, to complete the outermost energy level. Here we have 7 electrons in the outermost energy level. They becomes 8 after this electron, after a fluorine atom gains this electron, and it becomes a negatively charged. So the attraction between the positive and negative charges, this is the ionic bond. As we know, the different charges, like we studied in the magnet, attract together. So in here in the ionic bond we have positive and negative ions. So this attraction is known as the ionic bond. Here we have sodium and the chlorine atom. Here sodium loses an electron to complete the outermost energy level, become positive ion, to the chlorine to become a negative ion. As we can see here, we have negative charge and positive charge. The attraction between the positive and the negative charge, this is the ionic bond. And here we'll talk about the covalent bond, the second type of bonds. It's a chemical bond originated between the atoms of metals or non-metals. Okay, non-metals like nitrogen. Okay, nitrogen. Here, this is the N2 molecule. This is non-metal, nitrogen molecule. Okay, 7. That means we have in the energy level K 2 electrons, and in the energy level L we have 5 electrons. Okay, so here 2, 5. It needs 3 electrons to complete. This is non-metal, so it needs 3 electrons to complete the outermost energy level. What's happened here? Each atom share in the reaction with 3 electrons. Okay, so if you want to talk about this atom at the left side, here we have 2, okay, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 electrons inside this outermost energy level of the left nitrogen atom. Okay, and if we count the number of electrons and the right one, here we have 2 in K, and L we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 inside. So covalent bond happens with sharing with electrons. Here in nitrogen, each atom shared with 3 electrons to complete the outermost energy level to the other one. Here we'll talk about the covalent bond. We have 3 types of covalent bond. This is the single covalent bond. This is the same definition, okay, of covalent bond. The only difference that we define the number of electrons which share in the chemical reaction. Here it's a chemical bond which originated between 2 non-metal atoms, where each atom shares with the other with one electron. So we say 1 electron, single covalent bond. If every atom shares with electron, that means it's a single covalent bond, as we can see here. 1 atom share with 1 electron. Here in double covalent bond, yes, double covalent bond, the same definition, but instead 1 electron with 2 electrons. So it's a chemical bond Double covalent bond, it's a chemical bond which originates between two non-metal atoms where each atom shares with how many electrons? Yeah, 2 electrons, so it's a double covalent bond, as we can see here, oxygen 8, 2, 6. So it needs 2 electrons to complete the outermost energy level. Each atom share with 2 electrons. And here in nitrogen atom, it's a triple covalent bond. Nitrogen 7, that means 2, 5, 2, 5. So 2, 5, here the outermost energy level needs 3 electrons to complete the outermost energy level. So everyone shares 3 electrons to complete the outermost energy level. So it's a chemical triple bond. It's a chemical bond which originated between the two non-metal atoms where each atom shares with how many electrons? Yes, 3 electrons, so it's a triple covalent bond. And now this is the time for evaluation. Mention the type of bond of each of the following molecule and explain how it's formed. Sodium chloride, NaCl. Okay, here we have sodium Na11 281. Okay, this is metal or non-metal. Yes, in the outermost energy level we have 1 electron, so this is metal. And in chlorine Cl17, yes, 287. So this is non-metal. It's between metal and non-metal. So this is, yes, ionic bond, as we can see. Positive, okay, electron, sodium lose an electron, and it go to the chlorine. Okay, and nitrogen, N2. Okay, N2, this is non-metal and this is non-metal, so this is a bond between two non-metals. It's what? Yes, covalent bond, triple covalent bond. Okay, because each atom shares with 3 electrons to complete the outermost energy level, so it's a triple covalent bond. Okay, and magnesium dioxide. Okay, here magnesium Mg12 the outermost energy level contains 2 electrons, so it is it's a metal. So metal loses the outermost energy level electrons, the 2 electrons, and become positive ion. And here oxygen 2, 6, it gains 2 electrons and to complete the outermost energy levels and becomes a negative ion. Okay, so it's between a positive and negative ion, metal and non-metal, so it is ionic bond.
This is the time for evaluation. Make a pause for this video and scan the QR code.
Today we are talking about the chemical bonds, ionic and covalent bond. Okay, ionic is attraction between positive ion of metallic atom and a negative ion of non-metallic element. And the covalent bond between two non-metallic elements with sharing with electrons. We have 3 types. Single covalent bond, each element or each atom share with 1 electron. Okay, and in double, each atom share with 2 electrons to complete the outermost energy like oxygen. And in triple, like nitrogen, each atom share with 3 electrons to complete the outermost energy level. Okay, now let's talk about the next lesson keywords. Please repeat after me. Valency, the atomic group, chemical formula. And we have to list which is the session another time with the material of the lesson, solve the homework sheet, and see you in the next session. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.